Deception doesn't come like a stab to the heart. It's colder than that, slow, deliberate. A creeping frost that settles deep in your chest, turning warmth to suspicion and then to something harder. It was a Monday, late afternoon, light stretched, long shadows across the elementary school parking lot. I eased the car into our usual spot, the one I'd pulled into 100 times before, but this time was different. 5 small figures waited at the curb, still as porcelain and just as fragile. Our children, mine and hers, stood huddled together, confused, silent. The youngest clutched a pink backpack nearly the size of her body. The oldest wouldn't even lift her gaze. Before I looked at my phone, I already knew something was wrong. Dread was already curling in my stomach. But when I saw the message, that dread solidified. In Hawaii, take care of the kids. That was it. No explanation, no warmth, just a string of ocean wave emojis and a smug little smiley face. I stared at it, stunned. I called her, no answer. I called again, straight to voicemail. Again and again, silence. I looked back at our children, and something inside me cracked, not with sorrow, but with sharp, clean finality. Something broke, and in its place grew a steel-edged clarity. We had been married for 12 years, not perfect years, but real ones marked by laughter, scraped knees, birthdays, quiet dancing in the kitchen, with her hands resting on my shoulders as the kids slept upstairs. Her name was Emily. Saturday mornings she wore that crimson silk robe I gave her on our 5th anniversary, making waffles while music played softly in the background. I can still see how the fabric slipped from her shoulder as she stood by the stove, lost in her own world. I believed I knew her, every angle, every flaw. I was wrong. The signs had been there. She started coming home later, said she was tired. More often, nights with friends became routine, and she began to carry the smell of cologne, not wine. 3 months before she vanished, I found a hotel receipt folded into her jacket pocket. Not for a few hours, not even the right city. Scribbled initials, Cubal. It wasn't the time to explode. I'm not a man who acts on impulse. I needed proof, a plan. While she sipped paradise through a straw, I started building. My first step was a lawyer, not some kindly negotiator, but a sharp, unyielding woman who'd carved her name through courtroom wars. I sat in her office, showed her the message, the school's security footage of my children waiting alone. I said, "Let's be thorough." She nodded. We started. I froze our joint accounts, flagged her credit cards for suspicious charges. Then I posed as her assistant and called the Hawaii resort. One polite lie later, I had her room number. Her name was booked alongside another Kevin Walsh, Cubal. I did more digging. Kevin worked at her firm. Newly divorced, his ex, contacted, through a discreet pseudonym, told me he was charming, selfish, and emotionally carnivorous. I believed every word, so I hired a private investigator. It wasn't cheap, but it was worth every penny. He sent photos, timestamps, flight logs even. Videos. There she was, cocktail in hand, laughing in the sun while our children cried themselves to sleep. I didn't fall apart. I organized. Every document was labeled, every timeline mapped, every photo archived. I was done being naive. If she wanted out, I would hold the door, but not without consequences. She returned this morning. I was in the kitchen, cooking eggs and sausage, the same way she used to. The smell filled the house, warm and grounding. My phone buzzed like a trapped insect. 29 missed calls, her name blinking urgently. I ignored them. At 10:30 a.m., the front door burst open. She looked golden, sun-drenched and furious. "You emptied the accounts, Michael. Where are the kids?" I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. I let her rage burn itself out. When her shouts finally dissolved into silence, I slid a thick envelope across the counter. Inside was everything: divorce filings, custody motions, bank records, photos from Hawaii, surveillance of her walking barefoot through white sand, while our daughter curled into a counselor's lap, too withdrawn to speak. She flipped through the pages like someone trying to claw their way out of quicksand. Her voice trembled when she looked up. "You orchestrated this." I didn't deny it. I nodded. "The day you left our children on a curb like luggage, I started protecting them. You made your choice. I made mine. The court didn't take long. She tried spinning stories, said it was a business trip, accused me of being emotionally distant. But the judge wasn't blind, not with video evidence, counselor reports, and the paper trail of her escapade laid bare. Emily lost custody. She now sees the kids twice a month under supervision. Kevin, he vanished. Once the illusion of sun-kissed freedom faded, he remembered he didn't want 5 kids and a legal mess. He disappeared the way men like him always do, quietly, without apologies. Last I heard, she's sleeping on her cousin's pull-out, bouncing between jobs, trying to patch together a life that slipped through her fingers. I didn't destroy her. She unraveled herself, sometimes late at night. I still hear her laughter echoing faintly from the past, the soft hum of a song. As she folded laundry, the whisper of her perfume lingering in an old sweater I can't throw away. But I don't miss her. I miss who I believed she was. There's a difference. The kids are healing. We've built new routines. There's therapy, yes, but mostly there's honesty. I never lied to them. I never twisted the story. I told them the truth in words they could carry without breaking. Your mom chose a different path. I chose you. They ask about her, and I answer, no venom, just facts. She's their mother. I won't tarnish that bond, but I'll guard their hearts like a fortress. This wasn't about revenge. It was about clarity, realignment, anchoring the pieces she abandoned and rebuilding something whole. Now, when her name flashes across my screen, I let it fade. She chose escape. I chose resilience.